Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Night of the Living Dead review. So, this is a classic. It is a movie that pretty much helped redefine the genre, especially for zombies. This was what many call the first zombie movie, which you can see why, because this is really what's the force of a lot of the stuff, even though there were some zombie-like elements in other movies. I feel like this really made what the genre is today. I mean, The Last Man on Earth is kind of like a zombie movie, but they're much more intelligent in that movie and stuff like that. Speaking of intelligence, I do feel like the zombies in this movie are a bit more intelligent than the zombies that we usually think of today. The zombies in this movie will pick up weapons to use to kill and get into things. Like in the beginning of the movie, the zombie at the beginning picks up a rock to smash the window into the car. I feel like most zombies today try to use brute force, and it's only a few movies that make them smarter, and that I feel like that's usually a deviation nowadays from the genre. This movie also has a lot of stuff tied in with race. George Romero says it wasn't intentional, but it feels intentional. But they have a black lead, which is revolutionary for the time, and it does have a lot of if you look at the subtext, some good race relations stuff that was going on at the time. This was 60 something. This was 66 or something like that, and it was just it was during the civil rights and stuff, so yeah, it was a crazy time. But yeah, this movie helped revolutionize the genre. I don't know how much that would be possible if it wasn't public domain. I'm making it much more widely spread, I feel like. I don't know if it would have had the same impact if it was a studio film or anything that was just kind of limiting itself through distribution, but with it being public domain, people can use it all the time. That's why it's in so many horror movies in the background. That's what makes a lot of these shots iconic, is because you've seen these shots before, because they're so... people like them so much that they put them in their own movies a lot of the times. And all those lines, I feel probably wouldn't be as popular if they were not public domain. So, who knows how much the genre would be different without this not being public domain. And the reason why this is public domain, if you don't know why it's public domain, because this came out in the 60s, you're probably why is this public domain? It's because they messed up where the copyright was on the original name. They copywritten the original name instead of the actual movie. So the studio just changed the name and just released the movie as Night of the Living Dead instead, making it public domain. And yeah, that's why we see it everywhere. There's multiple different versions to watch. There's a colorized version. There's what I call the George Lucas version, which is I think it's the 30th anniversary, where they pretty much special edition it, and they add in scenes. George Romero had nothing to do with that one, but a bunch of people that worked on the original film came back and added these scenes with the original zombie from the opening scene and a priest and stuff. I don't know much about this version. I haven't seen it myself. I just heard people talk about it, but I hear you could pretty much just make it its own thing, and it doesn't need to be part of this movie, which probably makes sense. I don't know why they didn't just make it its own thing, because you can pretty much do anything sequel related to this movie because it is public domain. So you can pretty much just make a movie that is a sequel to this movie without getting in trouble for it. I feel like that's why zombies are so popular, is because the rules for zombies are pretty much up for grabs. I don't know how different that would be if this movie was copywritten, and if people who had the copyright on this movie would be like, no, this is our version of zombies. You can't have it, because zombies didn't start off as this. They started off as like the Heisen zombies that are mind controlled type things, and more like the servants to people. Yeah. So who knows how much would be different if this didn't end up in the public domain. I feel like a lot would be different, really, because this like helped revolutionize the genre in such a way that, like, I feel like movies in the horror genre aren't made the same way because of this movie. It also does a lot with just zombies in general. Like, who knows how many zombies would be around today if we didn't have this movie. I doubt Walking Dead would be the same, or Return of the Living Dead, or any of the Romero's sequels would even be gone. So that's like a majority of those zombie franchises would probably be gone because of this one movie not existing. So yeah. And then I feel like this movie did a lot for conventions of genre too. So who knows how the genre would have evolved without this movie. Yeah, this is such a linchpin for this genre that I feel like if anything was different about this movie being public domain or not existing at all, would like completely change how this genre became a thing. But yeah, a remake of this movie, which I might review in the future, I feel like overall that movie has a better Barbara, but it kind of has lost a few of its political nuances and some of its what it was saying at the time when the original was made, because it's so tied to the original that you have to like do the original story but also be its own thing. So it's kind of like it gets muddled in trying to balance everything. But yeah, I'll probably review that one on its own sometime in the future. Don't expect it anytime soon, but sometime maybe I'll check it out. Probably once I do the official Romero series, I'll go and do all the remakes of the Romero movies. There's like, 7 Romero zombie movies. There's this one, there's Dawn of the Dead, there is Day of the Dead, I think Land of the Dead, I think there's like Survival of the Dead, and then what's the found footage one called? Is it like Journal of the Dead or something like that? One of them's found footage. But yeah, there's a lot of those movies, and there's also series that are technically sequels to this movie that isn't Romero, like Return of the Living Dead is like a weird sequel where like the movie exists but like it's based off a real event type thing. So yeah, that's one thing that I think a lot of people get confused with the Return of the Living Dead and the Romero movies, is that because Return of the Living Dead has the Living Dead part in it. They think it's the de facto sequel to Night of the Living Dead, where all the Romero movies, which are pretty much the actual sequels to this movie, are just called Dead something. So, something dead. It's a lot that could change if this movie never existed, and I feel like that is why it needs to be talked about. How many movies would be completely different without this one movie? Probably a lot. It also is a good movie to analyze as a film student, because this was like a independent, low budget movie for the most part, and that's why like the copyright thing's kind of weird, because the studio's like, we don't want to pay these people, so we'll just make it public domain type thing. Like they didn't care enough to like be like, oh yeah, we should probably like actually make money on this movie. But yeah, this is probably the best public domain movie you'll probably ever see. I know there's a bunch of 50s and a bunch of silent movies that are public domain, but this one's probably like the most well-made public domain movie that is. Like, the only reason it's public domain is because the studio pretty much, because of like that one mistake of the copywritten thing, like if that mistake didn't happen, it would be like a franchise film. It would be a studio film, and that's part of the reason why it's so good, I guess, because it's actually a movie that belongs to a studio. Not to say that all public domain movies have a lower quality, it's just saying that there was actually care put into this movie, and that people were actually working on this movie. And the people behind this movie are very talented. Like, George Romero is famous for his movies, and his political commentaries in his movies. Like, without this crew of people, who knows how good this movie would have been. But yeah, this is probably the best public domain movie. I mean, there's some William Castle movies that are public domain, but this is like a serious movie that actually has stakes to it, where the William Castle movies are more like campy fun type movies that have gimmicks. It's kind of like, hey, what are you going to choose to be a better movie? So yeah, this is such a good movie, and I highly recommend it. It's public domain, as I've said multiple times, so you can find it pretty much everywhere. Amazon Prime probably has some of the best versions of this movie. If you don't have a decent copy yourself, you can find it on YouTube. I don't know how well the copies on YouTube would be. And if you just want to get like a 50-pack, you don't really care about the quality of the movie itself, you can get a 50-pack of like movies for like $12.99, and it's usually in there because it's public domain and it's so well known. So if you're trying to build up your horror collection, that's a good option for you. But yeah, there's so many movies that you can check out, but I recommend this one because it is so good and it's so revolutionary for the genre that I think you would appreciate the genre as a whole itself if you go back to this movie and watch it. But yeah, okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, what's up? CloneYoshi here. You can probably tell what day I'm filming this if you've been watching all these reviews. But anyway, I'm here to talk about the average YouTube stuff. What is up? So, if you haven't already, subscribe, and then hit that bell to get those notifications so you never miss a video. And then if you like this video, like it. If not, I don't care. And then if you have anything interesting to say, post it in the comments. And then share it with your friends if you really like this video and stuff. It will help the channel grow. And yeah. So thank you for doing all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
3-day weekend! Yeah!